Hi, it's Chris Lawler. I just thought I would shoot a video today showing how I put together a Slimline TriBackground. This particular one that I'm working with is the Merry Christmas. I'm going to change out the middle a bit on the card that I am making, but the concept is pretty much the same across all of the Slimline TriBackgrounds that the Stamps of Life carries. So basically what you do is you run the die through your cutter. For this particular one, I wanted a different color at the top and the bottom. So I ran the top through, then I ran the bottom through. And then actually for the middle, they have a basic Slimline TriBackground. And for the middle, I just used the outline part so I could have that be white. So anyway, what I like to do is I get all of my pieces cut out. I get everything ready to go. And then I'll do like foundation pieces with the basic. In this case, I did them with green. There's just one white. I figured because I'm gonna be layering on that section. And then up at the top, you know, since it's snowflakes, I did it in white. So pretty much what I do is I will take, I'll kind of do all my gluing first. And I like just to, you don't have to do it this way, but I like to do it kind of on a, you know, to kind of put everything together on a full-size die cut. That way I think I just get a better result. So I'm gonna start by gluing together the bottom. And I probably shouldn't have done that, but let's just roll with it and see what happens. So you can see how some of my glue is showing through. So all I'm gonna do is just take a cloth and wipe that out. And normally, if I wasn't filming, I may get another piece of cardstock, but I did already ink it up and I will be putting some snowflakes on there. So when I'm finished, you're probably not gonna notice. So let's move ahead to the top piece and let's do it the right way and apply the glue to the back of this piece. And you can also use, Stamps of Life carries adhesive sheets, and you can also use that to help adhere. I prefer to use the glue because that gives you a little wiggle room. I do like using the adhesive sheets on the sentiments, especially, you know, the ones that are kind of skinny, because then it can be difficult to get everything to stick. So anyway, so this part is done. I'm gonna do the inside part later. So what I'm gonna go ahead is, it overlaps a little bit, you can see. So I'm just going to apply, this is one time when you'd want to apply your glue directly onto the bottom, and then I'll just kind of carefully run a bit of glue on this piece and then just kind of line that up. I'm just kind of centering it. And then for my center piece, I just want to make sure, so I'm just gonna kind of lay that down like that. I did do a little ink blending on the edges so it's not so stark white. And again, because this will be overlapping a little bit, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of see, I'll do a little bit on this piece like that. And then on my foundation piece, I'll just kind of run some glue on the sides and then kind of line that up. I'm going to use the lines on my mat to help me get that straight. And then same thing for the top. You can see how it overhangs a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and I can run my glue along this piece, but then on the other pieces I will just do it on there. All right, so that part is done. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this to my card base. And this is to cut this out, I used the Slimline card base. You don't necessarily have to use this, you know, a die for a Slimline, but I think it makes for a nicer card because everything is even and you've got your score line. It's so much easier than using a paper cutter, and if something ends up, you know, a little off, it's, you know, you're not dealing with that. And I actually was going to cut this one on my paper cutter. I cut one out on the paper cutter and it looked off. So I went to my die and used my die. Here's what the die looks like. And it, you know, you get a perfect cut every time. You do need a larger machine. On the other side of my room, I have a, you know, the larger Spellbinders Platinum, and I, you know, run it through at a slight angle, and it works perfectly every time. So my next step will be to glue this onto my card base. I am going to just run a bone folder along the back of it to make sure, to try and get it to lay a little flatter. You don't have to do that because when you mail it, it will, you know, kind of flatten out. But I think just as I'm working on it, it'll make it a little nicer. So then I'm just going to run my glue along the back. And then what I like to do is when I have to center something, I like to stand up so I'm looking at it from the top down. And then I'll kind of line it up on my mat. And then make sure I'm getting it on there correctly. I mean, it's not perfect, but I just get it on there the best that I can. And it helps if you have a mat with grid lines to work on. So now that this part is done, I'm going to assemble the penguins. I do want to talk a little bit about the penguins. The penguins came from this Penguins2stamp set, which was released a number of years ago, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I like to reach back to some of my older sets, especially when I'm doing holiday and Christmas cards, and this is one of my favorites. And then my greeting is from the holiday Deckle card set. There's a total of 5 different Christmas sentiments that come with one of the Deckle edge dies. All right, so I'm just gonna assemble this part and then we'll be done with the card. So I'm going to kind of put my guys, I don't know, I'll probably kind of put them like that just to kind of have a little bit of interest there, like the smaller one is up on a snowbank type of thing. And then to adhere my die cuts, I like to use the foam that the Stamps of Life sells. I mean, you can obviously pick up foam anywhere, even the Dollar Tree. I did find that the stuff from the Dollar Tree was not adhering as well, and I had to use additional glue, so I wasn't crazy about having to go through that extra step. So then I just recently switched over to the stuff that the Stamps of Life offers. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Everyone, you know, probably has their own way of putting these Slimline TriBackground cards together, but I have found that this is what works for me. And I like that if you don't necessarily want that Merry Christmas in the center, that you can use the basic Slimline TriBackground and just have, you know, just the plain white part that you, or whatever color to cut out. That way it just gives you some flexibility. So what I'm going to do is I will go ahead and pop these guys up. They're going to kind of overlap a little bit, so I want to just be mindful of that as I'm putting my adhesive on. So I'm just going to kind of lay them like that, so that way it kind of reminds me not to put any adhesive in those places. And just full disclosure, I am kind of using bigger pieces just because that's going to help me to work a little faster on this video. But normally I would probably cut my pieces to be like a third of the size, but I figured I want to create this video and have it done so that you're not waiting for me all day. So I think that should be enough. So what I'm going to do also is I will put a little bit of, let me see, because this is how it's going to go. So I will put a little bit of glue on the back of the taller penguin so that there's something that keeps him in place there. So anyway, and again, this is another time when I would stand up and look at my card from the top down and just make sure that everything is getting placed exactly to how I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set that like that. And then my next step is to add the little hat and scarf. And for these, I'm not going to use foam tape. I'm just going to put these on like this. And this is something that I prefer to use, like a liquid glue. I use Aleene's Tacky Glue. I know Stamps of Life now has a crafter's glue, and I just need to get it ordered the next time I place an order. So anyway, so my middle section is finished, and what I was going to do to add a little bit more of interest to my card, and I made this card for a hop where the theme is snowflakes. So I thought I would just add some additional snowflakes. And to get these snowflakes, what I did was I just ran through a couple times the top part of the die, and then it allowed me to, you know, just to have some extra snowflakes to work with. That's one thing that's great about these TriBackground dies, is that if you're new to die cutting or new to card making, you can use the, you know, like if you don't have to use these snowflakes on a Slimline card, you can use them, you know, on a regular card, and then you can just run that through. Likewise for the trees, you can just cut out a bunch of trees. And actually for the Merry Christmas that comes with the die, I used just the Merry Christmas on a card by itself. I will include an image of that card at the end of the video, but you can just do so much with these. They're a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed using them. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on my snowflakes. And when I do snowflakes, I usually just put a little tiny glue in the middle. In that way, then the other pieces kind of fluff up a little bit, so it kind of looks a little more natural, like how a snowflake would look in nature. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Let's see, I'm still debating if I want to have those extra snowflakes in the white area. I like to do odd numbers when I do stuff like this, and having an even number is kind of bugging me. So I might go back and add those off camera, but I'm pretty happy with this card. I hope you've enjoyed watching the process of me putting it together. And if you're not currently a subscriber, I hope you'll take the time to subscribe to my videos. I am on the design team for the Stamps of Life, so I do occasionally post various videos, either doing card shares, and I've been working on some videos lately where I, do just what I did now, where I put together the card versus just showing the finished product. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you have a great day.